Imagine one day you wake up and your life is no longer chaotic. All the goals and dreams that you set for yourself, you're achieving them. You're motivated, inspired, and you are accomplishing the stuff you wanted. You start a business, you start a YouTube channel or a podcast or blog, right? You wrote that book that you've been wanting to write for years. You are living, in abundance. Your life is thriving. Instead, a lot of us fall under this bracket. Our life is a chaotic mess. We struggle to keep up, we fall behind, we beat ourselves when we do that, we are unmotivated, uninspired. And we still ask ourselves, but how can I get from point A to point B? One of the things I discovered in the last couple of years is there are 3 types of brains. You've got brain A, which is the go-getter brain. Brain B is more of the playing catch-up brain, Then we've got brain C, the neurodivergent brain. Now, depending on what brain you fall under, certain things work for you and certain things don't. A lot of the tips and tricks and hacks for productivity, starting a business online, usually work for type A brain. This is the brain that does well with organizing and structuring their life and actually accomplishing their goals without too much of a push, right? Brain C needs more of a push because brain C struggles with procrastination and worry and not being motivated and not being inspired and not having that particular structure or the willpower to have that structure, right? And then we've got brain C. Type C is the neurodivergent brain, as I said before. I fall under type C. They're the ones that struggle way more than brain C. They procrastinate a lot. Their brain works differently. They, most of the time, are not motivated to do something unless they're passionate about it. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is going to help you whether you're brain A or brain C. Because a lot of these tricks are things that I learned over the years that have inspired and motivated me to do things that I never thought I would actually accomplish. History, right? A snippet of my life story. Growing up, I struggled with school. I was what you call not even a late bloomer, but one of those students that a lot of people thought was stupid and dumb. Because no matter how easy the questions were, I always used to fail. I was always falling behind, like a lot of us do. I was always trying to play catch up. And reading as a student was a struggle for me. Studying was a struggle for me. Actually memorizing things or even remembering them was a struggle for me. And I had to learn over the years what works and what doesn't work. Because a lot of us fall under this, right? We feel as if we're behind in life, behind in understanding where to go. And a lot of people think we're lazy because why can't you just get it? How come you don't understand how to do the simple things that everyone can do? And so you're trying to do things that don't necessarily gel well with you because someone's saying to you that this is what works. There's so many productivity gurus online. There's so many productivity videos about how to hack productivity, how to become motivated, how to beat procrastination with a bat. And a lot of the times you're thinking, but this is not going to help me. Because at the end of the day, what works for person A doesn't necessarily work for person D or E, right? Or F. A lot of the times, certain things need to tailor specifically to you, to your particular situation. So, hi, my name is Vanessa. Please like, please subscribe so that you're always notified whenever a new video comes out. And we spend so much time focusing on habits, and I'm not saying habits is a bad thing. Changing habits can change your life, but there is a simpler way to actually make things a lot better for you. It's the way you learn, it's the way you think, it's the way you do things, and that's what we're going to be talking about, right? Because falling behind is not your fault. It's just that certain things have just not been working out for you. In order for you to course correct that, you need to understand how to make things work in your favor. James Clear wrote a book a few years ago called Atomic Habits. Now, a lot of YouTubers have done videos about atomic habits. Brilliant book, right? That if you do 1% improvement over a course of a couple of months to a year, your life will drastically change. And this, of course, is absolutely true. But here's the little caveat. It doesn't always work because if you're not consistent, if you're not motivated, if you struggle with procrastination, How are you going to make 1% improvements? If you're looking at your calendar year and only 3 times a week you're working on a particular skill, and you look back at the end of the year, you would have only made 1% improvement because you would have not been consistent, because that's what it requires, right? In order for you to make drastic improvement, you need to be consistent. However, there's a way around it. You just need to make major progress. Instead of 1%, you make 5%, 10, 15, 20. Whatever is your progress level, you make that kind of percentage, and you will make a huge difference in the way your life is, in your skill set, in the habits that you formed. Another thing is, this is the thing I learned. You gotta be passionate about whatever you want to learn. When I wanted to learn graphic design, specifically how to design book covers, because I wanted to publish books on Amazon, I had to watch numerous videos about book cover design. Unfortunately, there were no book cover design videos on YouTube. So I had to now watch videos on how to design a poster. I know you're thinking, but aren't they different? Technically they are, but the same theory usually is applied to them. You have to make it pop. So for me personally, I looked at that. I was like, okay, fine. Every poster focuses on one particular character or characters. And the same thing with book cover design. And I watched hundreds of those until I learned how to do it. And then I started, because I was now passionate about it. The same thing with guitar, right? Before I learned how to play guitar, I would watch videos on it. I would watch videos on how to play the guitar. I would watch videos on how to strum the guitar. I would watch videos on different types of guitars until I was passionate enough about the guitar. So first of all, you got to be passionate about what you want to learn. If you're not passionate about it, then you're going to give up. Then the other thing is, you got to tailor success. What I mean by this is, they are people who have the life that you want to have. They're people who have achieved things that you want to achieve. They're people who have achieved the goals that you want to achieve. Let's say, for example, you want to start a YouTube channel. Follow people who have thriving YouTube channels. And then follow what they do. Follow the topics that they do. Follow the way they do thumbnails. Follow the way they start their videos. Watch how they edit their videos. Watch how they transition from one scene to the next. You got to tailor success to be successful. That's the thing I learned. Instead of trying to, charge ahead, right, on your own lane, you got to follow whatever everyone else has done, because that will help you improve. That will help you set in motion the life that you want. That will also help you change your mindset so that you can focus on the things that you want to achieve. Another thing, and this is the thing that a lot of us, struggle with, you gotta have to keep working on it. Now, I'm not talking about consistency, right? I'm talking about deep work, because there's a difference between consistency. For me, I'm not the most consistent person. I won't lie to you. I struggle with procrastination. I also struggle with being motivated enough. And if my brain just isn't working the day, because sometimes ADHD works like that, sometimes my brain just does not want to work. And when I force myself, it feels as if a sledgehammer is literally, hitting my brain. So often at times I've had to focus on deep work instead of consistency. So I will work on how can I do something, and get into it to the point where when I leave it, I have immersed myself into it. I've focused so much that I'm happy with where I'm leaving it. And I'm not saying this is an easy thing, but it's a lot easier to do than consistency. So deep work basically means just focusing on it and making sure that you spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on it and improving on it to an extent where you are satisfied with your progress. Now, so this is how you learn skills without forming habits. Now, all these will work for any particular skill. Of course, not a lot of the times it falls, it doesn't exactly measure up, because if you're learning something that does require consistency, it's difficult for you to apply these things. So you got to fall in love with the quiet zone. The quiet zone is all about you falling in love with optimizing, not for consistency, but for passion. There's certain things you're not going to be good at. For example, I'm not great at memorizing. I'm not great at video editing. I'm not going to be the best video editor out there. And that's okay. Often at times we want everything to work well. We want that skill that we're working on for us to become a professional at the end of it, for us to become a pro. I'm not saying that you won't get to a point where these things become natural for you. But I'm saying that they're always going to be things that you're going to lack in. There are always going to be skills that you fall behind in. Now, there are going to be skills that you're great at. It's down to passion. Can I become a great video editor? Sure. If I work hard at it, and if I'm passionate about video editing, I could become a great video editor. Same can be applied for memorizing. Could I become a great memorizer? Well, probably not. Not with my brain. Not with my brain. But this is the thing though. There's certain skills that you can work at and improve and become professional with. And there are certain skills that you're going to lack in. Whether it's going to require you using your muscles, whether it's going to require using your brain. For example, maybe you like fitness and you do fitness and you do exercise, but are you going to become a fitness expert? Maybe not, right? So there are things that you're going to have to be okay with in the quiet zone. And this is the thing that a lot of us struggle with. Being okay with not being good at everything. Being okay with not being perfect at everything. Being okay with falling behind in certain areas. Or content with that. This leads to my next one, contentment. Often at times, we struggle because we're comparing ourselves to everyone else. We're comparing how their life is. We're comparing how you think your life should be. We're comparing their goals and their dreams and what they've achieved at a certain age. Compare yourself, right? You are putting so much pressure on yourself to achieve what they're achieving because you feel as if you're falling behind. Maybe you're not falling behind, but you're just right on time. You're right on schedule. You just have to figure out what works for you. Comparison is a disaster waiting to happen because you will never be able to achieve what someone else has achieved because their journey does not compare to your journey. Now we go to the next one, your intentions. And this is something that I used to struggle with a lot. There are reasons why we do certain things. And when you figure out why you're doing it, it's a lot easier to do it. Why do you want to be consistent on Instagram? Why do you want to post on Instagram? Why do you want to write a book? Why do you want to start a YouTube channel? Why do you want to start a podcast? Why do you want to start a blog? When you figure out what your intentions are, it's a lot easier to be motivated to do them. And that's the thing that's missing with a lot of people these days. We're so busy trying to become the productivity whiz guru, a whiz person, that we forget that often with productivity and motivation comes our intentions. What is your intention to wake up early? If your intention to wake up early is to get started on the day, you're more likely to wake up early. If your intention is just to wake up early and there's actually no big intention, chances are you're not going to wake up early because there is no reason for you to do it. Just the same thing as if you're writing a book, just the same thing as if you want to publish the book or start a YouTube channel or a business. You always have to understand what your intentions are. Why are you making those decisions? Why are you making those choices? You realize that it's so much easier for you to actually do those things because there's a reason to it. The big question mark, right? It's right there. You understand why you're doing it. You understand the need for it. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. Life is a journey. I know that's corny to say, but it is true though. Life is a journey. It's all about progress. It's all about starting your day slowly. It's all about figuring out why you're doing it and what you're doing it for, and just going with the flow. When you're in a rush to get to a place and a point in time, you're not going to get there because one, you've got no intentions, and two, you're running someone else's marathon instead of running your own marathon. You're walking someone else's journey instead of walking on your own journey. You're following someone else's advice that might not exactly align with how you think and how you look at the world. So it's so important for you to figure out all these things and for you to use that as a way to get started on your day, to get started on your life, to achieve what you want to achieve. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.